Hello students, I welcome you in today's session of physics, and in physics I am going to present atmospheric pressure and its measurement. Clear? So this you can see here, this is the topic. So first we will discuss about what is the atmospheric pressure. So you know very well our earth is surrounded by air to a height of about how much? 300 kilometer from its surface. This envelope of the air around the earth is called the atmosphere. So the weight of the air column exerts a thrust on the earth. The thrust exerts a unit area of the earth's surface due to the column of air is called the atmospheric pressure on the earth's surface. Clear? Now here you can see the atmospheric pressure on the earth's surface is how much? About 1 kg per centimeter square. This implies that the thrust of about this much amount Newton acts on every 1 meter square of the surface. Clear? Which is object on the earth. So the average surface area of a human body is about 2 meters square. Therefore, the atmospheric exerts a total thrust of about 2 into 10 to the power 5 newtons on our body. However, we are not aware of this enormous thrust or load on us because the pressure of our blood, known as the blood pressure, balances it. So the normal blood pressure is slightly more than the atmospheric pressure. So at high altitude, the atmospheric pressure becomes less because the height of the air column above the altitudes gets reduced. Therefore, at high altitudes, the blood pressure exceeds much from the atmospheric pressure, and due to excess blood pressure, nose bleeding may occur. Clear? So this is the effect of atmospheric pressure when you go above the height. Now we will talk about the demonstration of atmospheric pressure. This is your second 6.10. Here you can see the demonstration of atmospheric pressure. So the existence of the atmospheric pressure can be easily demonstrated in laboratory by the following simple experiment. The first one is collapsing tin can experiment. Now see the first one, what's happening in this experiment. We take here a tin can fitted with an airtight stopper. The stopper is removed and a small quantity of water is boiled in the can till the steam starts coming out of the can, and the steam take out of the air of the can. Here you can see, this is the figure. So the stopper is then tightly replaced, and simultaneously the flame beneath the can is removed. So cold water is then poured over the can. So it is observed that the can collapse inwards as shown by the figure. So the reason is that in this figure the pressure due to the steam inside the can is same as the air pressure outside the can. So but on pouring the cold water over the can fitted with the stopper, the steam inside the can condenses. Fine. So now producing the water and water vapors at a very low pressure, thus the air pressure outside the can become more than the vapor pressure inside the can. So consequently, the excess atmospheric pressure outside the can causes the can to collapse inward. Here in the above experiment, this is demonstration. Clear? Now consequently, the excess atmospheric pressure outside the can causes the can to collapse inward. This demonstrates that the atmospheric pressure outside the can exerts the pressure known as the atmospheric pressure. Clear? Now come to the common consequences of the atmospheric pressure. So some of the common consequences of atmospheric pressure which we observe in our daily life. Here you can see that sucking a drink with a straw. So when a drink is sucked with a straw, you can see with this figure, first the air of the straw goes into our lungs, and then the pressure of the air in the straw decreases. So the atmospheric pressure acting on the drink forces the drink to move up into the straw, which then reaches into our mouth. Clear? Now see this here. This is the experiment of the syringe. In a similar manner, in a water pump, water is drawn up from a well on pulling the piston up. Now see the second one, filling of ink into a fountain pen. So it is due to the atmospheric pressure that the ink filled into a fountain pen, the pen is kept with its nib inside the ink. So when the rubber tube of the fountain pen is pressed, the air rubber tubes goes out in the form of bubble. So the ink in the air pressure inside the rubber tube becomes less. So on releasing the rubber tube, the ink rises it through the capillary below the nib of the pen because the atmospheric pressure of the ink outside the rubber tube is now more than the air pressure inside the tube. Now see the fourth one. Rubber suckers are used as a hook in the kitchen and the bathroom. When the rubber sucker is forced against the wall, here you can see, this is the figure of the rubber sucker. So the air between the sucker and the wall is forced out, creating a vacuum in between. So the atmospheric pressure acting on it from outside and hold it firmly against the wall. Clear? Now see the fifth one, action of a siphon system. So water is supplied from a higher level to a lower level using the siphon system. Shows in the below figure, I will show you, shows the siphon system in which there are the two vessels P and Q. Just see the figure number, this one. Here, this is the siphon system. Clear? So A kept immersed inside the water of the vessel P, while the other end B kept open in the vessel Q. Here you can see with this figure. So to transfer water from the vessel P to the vessel Q, first air is sucked from the tube at the lower end B of it, so the pressure inside the tube decreases and the atmospheric pressure acting above the water surface in the vessel P forces water to rise in the tube through the end A so as to reach up to the level C. So then the water flows down through the tube of the higher level C to the lower B in the vessel Q due to the difference in the liquid pressure at the vessel C and B. Here you can see. Clear? The fourth one is the taking out of oil from a sealed oil can. Clear? So to take out oil from a sealed oil can, two holes are made on the can instead of making only one hole. The reason is that the air from the outside enter in through one hole to exert the atmospheric pressure on the oil, which forces the oil to come out from the other hole. So these are the examples of the atmospheric pressure. Now we will talk about the measurement of the atmospheric pressure. So atmospheric pressure at a place is measured by the barometer. This is the device by which we measure the atmospheric pressure. Now what is the use of barometer? So here you can see a barometer is an instrument which is used to measure the atmospheric pressure. Clear? Now following, there are the three types of barometers commonly used. First one is the simple barometer, the second one is the Fulton barometer, and third one is the Android barometer. Now we will discuss about one and one stepwise. First we will discuss about the simple barometer. So in 1643, Torsley first designed a simple barometer using a mercury, the barometric liquid. This is the construction. Clear? So I am not going into the deep of the construction. You read it by yourself, and you still feel any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. Clear? I will discuss about the barometer height at normal temperature and pressure. So the barometric height at normal temperature and pressure at the sea level is 0.676 meter or 76 centimeter or 760 mm of mercury. What are the factors which are affecting the barometric height? So the barometric height at a place changes only when the atmospheric pressure at a place changes. The barometric height remains same even when the shape of the tube is changed or the length of the tube submerged inside the mercury in the trough is changed, or the tube is fitted from its vertical position as shown you can see at the figure. Clear? So in an accurate or true barometer, the empty space above the mercury column in the tube is vacuum. So if somehow air enters the empty space or a drop of water gets into the tube, it will immediately changes into the vapors in the vacuum space, and the air and the vapors of the liquid will exert pressure on the mercury column, due to which the barometric height will decrease. Now such a barometer is said to be a faulty barometer. Clear? The barometric height of a faulty barometer will be less than the true atmospheric pressure. So if the tube of such barometer is pushed further down into the mercury trough, the barometric height will further decreases. Now we will discuss about the advantage of using mercury as a barometric liquid. These are the few advantages. So we will discuss one by one. The use of the barometric barometers has the following advantage. The first one, the density of the mercury is 13.6 into 10 to the power 3 kg per meter cube, is greater than that of all other liquids. So only 0.76 meter height of the mercury column is needed to balance the normal atmospheric pressure. Clear? Now see the second one. The vapor pressure of a mercury is negligible, so it does not affect the barometric height. The third one, the mercury neither wets nor does it stick to the glass tube, therefore it gives the correct reading. Clear? Come to the fourth one. The surface of the mercury is shining and opaque, So therefore it is easily seen while taking the observation. Fine. Now the fifth one, it can easily be obtained in the pure state. I hope you understand. Come to the disadvantages of using water as a barometric liquid. What happens if we use water as a barometric liquid instead of mercury? So the use of water in a barometer has the following disadvantages. The first one, the density of the water is low, which is 10 to the power 3 kg per meter cube. So nearly 10 to the power minus 4 meter height of water column is needed to balance the normal atmospheric pressure. So it will be highly inconvenient to take a tube of height 10.4 meter for a barometer. The vapor pressure of the water is high, so the vapors in the vacuum space make the reading inaccurate. Clear? Water sticks the glass tube and wets it, so the reading becomes inaccurate. And the fourth one is the water being transparent, so its surface is not easily seen while taking the observation. Clear? Now what are the defects of a simple barometer? So a simple barometer has the following defects. The first one, there is no protection for the glass tube. The surface of a mercury in the trough is open, therefore there are chances that the impurities may fall in and get mixed with the mercury of the trough. Now the third one, it is inconvenient to move barometer from one place to another. Clear? Now the fourth one, a scale cannot be fixed with the tube or cannot be marked on the tube. So to measure the atmospheric pressure, the reason is that when the atmospheric pressure changes, the height of the mercury column in the tube changes. So this changes the level of the free surfaces of the mercury in the trough due to the flow of mercury in or out of the tube. So the free surfaces of the mercury in the trough will not remain coinciding with the zero mark of the scale. So if a scale is fixed to measure the barometric height, so the above defects have been removed in the 410 barometer. Clear? Now we discuss about what is the 410 barometer. So the 410 barometer is a modified form of a simple barometer. It is used in the laboratory to measure the atmospheric pressure. You read its construction by yourself, students. I am not going to teach about the construction. Now I am moving to the, this is the, just see the figure. This is the figure of the 410 barometer. Clear? Now we will discuss about the aneroid barometer. So the third one is the aneroid barometer, and this barometer has no liquid. It is light and portable, and therefore it can easily be carried from one place to another. It is calibrated to read directly the atmospheric pressure and no prior adjustment is needed. Fine? This is the aneroid barometer figure. Clear? Now we will discuss about what are the uses of the barometer. So a barometer is used for the following three purposes. The first one, to measure the atmospheric pressure at a place. The second one for the weather forecast, and the third one as an altimeter. Now what happens with the variation of the atmospheric pressure with altitude? So the atmospheric pressure can be considered to consist of a number of parallel air layers, and each layer experiences a pressure on it due to the thrust. Fine? Of air column over it. Therefore, as we go up, the height of the air column decreases, and so the thrust of the air column decreases, due to which the pressure of the air decreases. Now, apart from this, the lower air layers get compressed due to the height. The upper layers, therefore, the density of the air layers is more near the earth's surfaces, and it decreases as we go higher and higher. So the decrease in density with the altitude is not linear. It is rapid at low altitude near the sea level and is slow at higher altitude. So due to decrease in the density of the air with the altitude, the atmospheric pressure also decreases with the altitude. Clear? So thus, to decrease the decrease in the atmospheric pressure with altitude is due to the following two factors. The first one is decrease in the height of the air column, which causes a linear decrease in the atmospheric pressure, and the second one is the decrease in the density of the air, which makes the decrease in atmospheric pressure less rapid with increase in the altitude. Now you can see here with the figure 6.23, with this figure shows the variation of the atmospheric pressure with the height above the sea level. Here you can see this is the figure showing the variation, this one. Clear? So at high altitudes, since the air pressure is less, so breathing becomes difficult and nose bleeding may occur due to the excess pressure of blood. So over the atmospheric pressure, therefore blood pressure patients are advised to avoid going to hill stations. However, modern aircraft are provided with cabins which sufficiently increase air pressure so as to safeguard their passengers from these hazards. Clear? Similarly, at high altitudes, a fountain pen leaks. The reason is that the fountain pen filled with inks contains some of the air and the atmospheric pressure on the Earth's surface. So when pen is taken to an altitude, the outside atmospheric pressure fills. The excess pressure inside the rubber tube forces ink to leak out. Fine. Weather forecast by the use of barometer. How can we forecast the weather? So the atmospheric pressure at a place is affected by the change in the temperature and the amount of water vapor present in the air at that place. The reason is that the density of the air changes with the change in the temperature and with the change of water vapor present in it. The density of the air decreases with the increase in the temperature and also with the increase in the amount of moisture present in it. That is, the density of the moist or the humid air less than the density of the dry air. So consequently, the atmospheric pressure or barometric height decreases as the temperature or the presence of moisture increases. Fine. So thus the change in the atmospheric pressure help us to know about weather in advance. By seeing the barometric heights, the weather forecast can be made as follows. Now just see. So what happened? So if the barometric height at a place suddenly falls, it means that the pressure at that place has suddenly fallen, hence indicates the coming of a storm or a cyclone. Now the second one, if the barometric height gradually falls, it indicates that the moisture is increasing, that is, there is a possibility of rain. Now see the third one, a gradual increase in the barometric height means that moisture in air is decreasing, this indicates the dry weather. And the fourth one, a sudden rise in the barometric height means that the flow of air from that place to the other surrounding low pressure area, this indicates an extremely dry weather. Fine. The fifth one, if there is no abrupt change in the barometric height, it indicates that the atmospheric pressure is normal, that is, the weather is fair. Clear? So these are the important points. You just remember each and every point, students. This is the end of the lecture today. We will meet with a new lecture, which is our lecture number 4. This is an altimeter. Clear? We will discuss about what is the use of altimeter. Till that, you study. Thank you, class. Thank you very much.